See when you get your bearings straight. So, it is my pleasure now to introduce to you the first of our two, what I call our anchor speakers for today, right? We have two panel sessions and two speakers, and our very first speaker is about to grace the stage. Now, as I shared with you earlier, this is the 5th year of Elevate, right? And first of all, guys, before I finish the introduction, just to acknowledge that we're going to be pausing the game during the presentations, right? We hear a lot of buzzing around, and we really want to give our speakers the respect of our rapt attention, because let me tell you guys, they're going to be dropping some nuggets today, okay? So we're going to be pausing the game during the speaker segment, so you can exhale, put down the game, and just take out your note-taking device or book, notepad, and give us your rapt attention, all right? So this speaker, probably you could say, needs no introduction, but she's special to us as part of the JMMB marketing team, not only because we get the chance to work with her very often, but because when we started Elevate 5 years ago, she was in the front row. And she was in the front row not because she was a speaker or a panelist or a host or anything like that. She was there because it was something she wanted to be a part of. She literally sacrificed what felt like her whole weekend for Elevate that year, because we started like Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of a vibe. It was like really a full weekend. And when it was all over, she posted a 30-minute video on Instagram talking about what she got from the Elevate experience. It was very powerful, and it brought tears to my eyes. And you could tell and feel that she came away from that experience really, really empowered in a way, with a fresh approach to even the mindset that she had about what was possible for herself and for her life. And she got a chance to meet our guest speaker, another guest speaker, and we started to work more closely with her as part of the Elevate team. And this year, for the very first time, she's gracing the stage as one of our anchor speakers for our Elevate event. And many of you know her, you love her, and would you join me in expressing that love by welcoming to the stage Dr. Terri-Karelle Reid!
On our club, do you know the words to the song? Do you know the words to the song? All right, we'll get the beat. If you want to get up and clap, please do it. It's like a praise and worship, yeah? High and mighty, 'cause tomorrow I can fall down on my face. You guys ready? Ready? Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for... Thank you, Mr. Selector. Thank you very much. Day. Thank you, DJ Narity. Please have a seat. Hi, Elevate 5.0. After I go hairdresser, go makeup artist, get local designer, for find the JMMB red, and get the heart, because you know JMMB has your best interest at. You going to give me that dege, pinke, fenke. Can we do this one more time? I was going to say after 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm going to jump right into my presentation, but let me just take the opportunity to say, I didn't use that song because it's viral now. I have witnesses, institutions, organizations that I have spoken at, and members of the audience who know I've been using this song for like 2 years to enter. And it's because a lot of the times we can get up and we can complain about the day that we're going to have, or we can actually get up and say, Lord, I give you thanks. And so today is going to be a beautiful day. Elevate 5.0 is going to be a beautiful day. And there is no vacancy for Murphy, correct? So as you heard, the theme is living your best life. And I have been given the task, the topic actually, of creating your best life. And that's kind of hard, right? Because living your best life is actually something very subjective and personal. Anissa, so good to see you. She flew in from Atlanta just to hear us talk. Yes. That's a very subjective and personal thing. So I do not believe that I am necessarily qualified to dictate, to tell you how to live your best life. What I'm here to do is to share some principles of what I practice, which is allowing me to live the life that I'm living. Is that cool? You guys agree? So I'm going to try to give you 7 points in the time that has been allotted to me, because 7 is the number of cool, no man. It is the number of completion. It is the number of fullness in the world. Number 1, and if you want to take out, I'm an unscripted speaker, as you can imagine. So if I say something and it drops in your spirit, it gone. I won't be able to repeat it again. Number 1, what are the things that we need to be looking at or trying to think of as strategies to create our best life? Number 1, you actually have to define what living your best life looks like and feels like. It seems very, very simple, but a lot of us are walking around here without actually defining what's right for us. When we hear the term living our best life, what do we visualize? Throw out some answers. What do we visualize? Traveling the world, family, financial freedom. All right. When I hear living my best life, you know what I visualize? People traveling the world. Every time you look them in a different country, we don't even know if them work. We can't really figure out what them do. But them just a travel. Allow me to tell. When I think of living my best life, I think about people who are zipline, bungee jump over some jungle in a Bali on a swing. Allow me to tell. When I think of living my best life, I visualize people who dine in fine dining restaurants morning, noon, and night. And the restaurant is not just expensive, but it revolves in the air, and the chef drop gold dust on them food. When I think about living my best life, I think about people getting cars with ribbons on it 24/7, and you really have to wonder what them a do. Me want to live my best life. Here's the problem with that, though. The problem is that when social media and mainstream media and pop culture decides to define what living your best life looks like, a lot of us abandon our priorities. We abandon our realities because we want to live our best life, but not according to what we have defined, but by what them people say. So you know you don't have that money. You know you don't have the money. You don't, listen, you're afraid of heights. You don't like jungle. You don't like mosquito bite. You don't like snake. But you going go back, you don't even care about going Bali. But guess what? Everybody go Bali. So you spend the money where you don't have, so that you can go and post your picture on your reel for say, living my best life. When you come out your yard, you're dead for. You go and spend money where you don't have to get all of the outfits where you have to put on from Monday to Sunday, because you have to do the slow-mo. And then you put up, living my best, YOLO. And then when you come home, white squall, wash you. When you come home, you have to beg, you have to borrow, or you have to thief. Because you do not have the power or the self-control to define for yourself what living your best life looks like now. And I'm going to give you an example. 2016, I'm still working at the Gleaner. I'm hosting Digital Rising Stars for 5 years. I'm hosting events. And so one would say that I have now established a media personality. I have a profile. I was driving a Toyota Crown at the time, and God knows I love the Crown, but I knew I needed a new car. And I remember when I opened up the paper, it was a Friday evening, I saw an ad for a Toyota Yaris, which was valued at $2.9 million. I called Garfield and I said, G, I feel like I can afford this car. We went the Saturday morning right after, went to Toyota Jamaica on Spanish Town Road, bought, filled out all the documents. I got approved and I got the car. It was months later that my other best friend, Carsten Johnson, who knows me for the longest, said to me, Terry, you know Moretio, because I know you're from high school. And if there's one thing I have noticed about you is that you just really don't care. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, considering the profile you have, and at the time in 2016, there was a particular model car that anybody who was anybody with a liquor title to them name, it was a particular model car that everybody was buying. And he said, you by right could have probably go for that kind of car to, maintain that status quo. And instead, you just always make the best decisions for you. But if I am not making the best decisions for me, who are going to do it? Therefore, you have to take accountability and responsibility over defining what you have to do. If somebody asks me, when have I ever lived my best life? It was during 2020. And I'm extremely sensitive about saying this because I knew that 2020 was a hard year for everyone. But I'm going to show you a thing. In 2019, I have left the Gleaner and I am now a full-fledged solopreneur. I am doing the event hosting thing and this is my bread and butter. In 2019, I realized I am making more money than I ever made in a month during my 9 to 5. When you are not accustomed to handling certain kinds of money, all of a sudden you feel like you can afford. And a lot of the times we take it for granted that we will always be healthy, that we will always have the job, or that we can always just make it back. In 2019, it was a breakout year for me. I made money, and I decided to save my money. Because living my best life means that I want to maintain a quality of life by my standards that I am comfortable at. Is everybody okay with that? So 2019 was my breakout year. 2020 comes, and I see, Germany is on my calendar. Paris is on my calendar. Dumb rep, me say me I go tour the world. But what happens in March? Lockdown. And I'm just like, what? And I start to get the emails and the phone calls. Terri-Karelle, we regret to inform you that right now, everything is canceled. And I started to panic within my heart. And I'm sure a lot of us experience that because I do not just maintain one household, I maintain two. And for those of us who are West Indians, who might be third generations, we know what it is like to maintain the household for your grandma or your grandpa. So I am starting to panic. Well, if I don't even know how I'm going to earn to take care of one household, how do I take care of two? But God said, what you mean? What you mean? Remember the story in the Bible? Joseph, when Pharaoh did have the dream, and him say, you go see seven fat, sexy cow, and him say 7 nice, big piece of wheat. And then what did he dream after that? 7 marga down, stay bad cow, and a little dry up wheat. And what did Joseph say? The man said, you're going to have 7 years of feast, and then you'll have 7 years of famine. Therefore, what was the instruction? Store. So while I was panicking, God reminded me that in my season of abundance, He said, in your season of abundance, what you did was you went to your storage house and you saved your money so that in your season of lack, you have nothing to worry about. There is not one bill that I was not able to pay. There is not one time me have to look over my shoulder, dodge nobody or block no call, because financially I was okay, because I defined what living my best life looks like in 2019, which prepared me for my 2020. So for those of you who want to look upon other people, you don't know how them earn them. You don't know what them have to do, forget them. To project what they say is living their best. You will continue to live your best life according to other people. So number one, I hope me not drape up nobody. May I drape up people? If I drape it up and you want to post it on social media, put hashtag TK drape up. That's just point number one. Can we get into it? Point number two. I realized on this journey, living my best life, I had to understand and embrace that my breakthroughs come on the other side of changing a routine, a habit, a comfort zone, or a familiar territory. What do you guys do at the beginning of your January? Just let me know. What she said? She started fasting. Go on, girl. Most of us fast going on no money after December done. But you can call it fasting. Okay, we go with it. No, I'm just okay. Fasting. What else do some of you do? Resolutions. Absolutely. What else? Vision board. What else? Truth. Choose a word for the year. You know what I do at the beginning of every January? What do I do? It's not budget. Rest. The beginning of January, I take out my camouflage palladiums. Those are my boots. I get my Rasta color outfit. I get my Rasta flag with Sizzla Kalonji face in it. And I get ready to chant down Babylon for 48 hours at Rebel Salute. It is the one time of the year that I get to do what I want to do. Listen to my roots rock reggae. I dance a Friday night till the Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll go at the hotel, and then we do the very same thing the very next day. You have to understand that this is my routine. This sets the tone for my year. JMMB enters the chat. Hi, Terri-Karelle. This is JMMB. We're putting on Elevate 1.0, and we would love for you to attend the conference, but not just that, we would love to have you and a select few at brunch with our keynote speaker, Paul Brunson. And I was like, JMMB nice. I like them. I bank with them. I've hosted events for them. I've attended events, and it's always top tier. Amen? So I take out my laptop because I'm going to respond, because black people, we must RSVP. Do not show up at the people in place if you did not RSVP. Look at production clapping. If you show up and you did not RSVP, you are going to stand in the back, and we are going to show you whatever leftovers we can show you. So I'm RSVPing. Oh my God, JMMB, thank you so very much for your kind consideration. I would love to attend. When we look on the date, a Rebel Salute date. So my heart says, oh, well, this is a no-brainer. Rebel Salute, where I go. So my brain says, hold on, not so fast. The conference is Saturday, but you don't need to go to the Saturday. You can go to Friday night, and then then you go Saturday night, and then leave out early so that you can come back in and catch the brunch on the Sunday. My heart says, that makes sense, brain, but guess what? If you leave early Saturday night, you're going to miss Sizzla Kalonji. You are going to miss Kokoti. Greetings I bring from Jah. Ooey. Come on, opposite the ooey part. And my brain say, all right, how we are going to do this? And the heart say, but we don't know who Paul Brunson is anyway. You know, miss out. My brain says, but there will be many other Rebel Salutes. But my heart says, this might be the best Rebel Salute ever. I mull over it for 2 days. No, I'm kidding. It seems very simple. But how many of us have routines and habits that are innocuous? They're not bad. They're not harming anybody. But it has become a part of who we are and how we celebrate ourselves. I take out the laptop and I said, greetings, JMMB. Thank you for your kind consideration. I would love to attend your event. And with that, I put back my palladiums. I put back my Rasta flag with Sizzla Kalonji. And I said, well, I'm not going to burn a fire this year. Aww. I stepped in on the Saturday, and Paul Brunson stepped on the stage, and he changed my life. Changed my life. That Elevate was in 2019, and if you were listening to my point before, I said that 2019 was my breakout year. And the reason it was my breakout year was because I decided to give up, to sacrifice what I consider to have been living my best life, to step into what God said. You think that was going to feed you? That was going to feed you for 48 hours, but I am going to give you something that is going to feed you 2019, 2020, 2021, and we're now in 2023. So, Paul comes on, drops some bomb, drops some nugget. I am front row, taking my notes, and it's like, God, I say, yo, you are asking for guidance. You are asking where to go, and it's like the man deposited everything. And I say that to say, while you are here taking your notes, don't just write it. Download it here and here. I would then go on to join Paul's community, learn about him. In fact, he became my digital mentor, if you will. And years later, during Corona, he is a closing speaker for an event that I'm hosting for a Grenadian. And while he's speaking, he comes on and he says, Terri-Karelle, it's such a pleasure to see you again. And he said, you know what, I just want to let you know that you will be more than Oprah. Let me tell you something. You know, sir, I receive it in the name of Jesus. But it felt so good coming from him. I shared that story because a lot of the times we pray for acceleration, promotion, expansion. We want the abundance, we want the elevation, but we do not want to let go of what we know. We do not want to let go of what we are familiar with. And what I am saying is, while you've already written to define, I want you to now identify the things that you are holding on to that are preventing you from stepping into the life that you are supposed to have. Now, if Rebel Salute change them date, oh, I will be there. But as long as Elevate coincides with it, I am going to come to Elevate. And let me tell you something. When you start to take up that mantle and you start to walk in your calling and you start to walk in your order, you realize that thing that you used to hold on to, you don't even remember it. It's not as important or as relevant as you once had it as. So number one, we said to define your priorities, right? Define what living your best life looks like. Number two, we looked at understanding that your breakthrough is usually on the other side of your habit, your routine, comfort zone. So what is number three? Number three is that you have to outwork your self-doubt. Let me say that again. You have to outwork. I hear somebody say, Jesus. One of the biggest things that cripple us in life is our self-doubt. And I'm grateful that I was raised by my grandma and my mom who just taught me to try. You not lose nothing if you just try. Because what I became was a teenager and a young woman who would just try. Now, what happens is that when I tried and I gave it my best shot, the Bible says it, your gifts will. All right. So you realize that your rooms start to get bigger. The people in your room start to get bigger. Their titles start to get bigger. The stakes are now higher. And when the stakes become higher, what starts to happen? Self-doubt starts to creep in and it starts to ask you, you really think so? You really for there? Me no, you're good, you know, but are you that good? A lot of us are, and by the way, this is something that everyone always tells me. How do you build your confidence? I'm just waiting and learning and reading to build my confidence. You can buy all the self-help books you want. You can do all the courses, attend all the conferences, but until you are willing to actually try and take the step, you're doing all of this for naught. Let me tell you where confidence shows up. Confidence shows up when you're not even sure, but you're going to try anyway. And when you try and you give it your best shot and you get the results, you go, that's not bad. So then confidence kind of comes a little bit close. Confidence is across the room, by the way. But confidence goes, all right. And then you say, all right, let me see where I can experiment, tweak, learn, twist, fix. And then you say, let me go again. And then when you try it again and you get a result, you say, confidence takes 2 steps over to you. The idea is that you actually have to take the step and outwork your self-doubt. So back in the day where I would have worried of being qualified or not, no, we make the impossible possible. Poor Alex, my executive liaison, I'm so sorry for him most times. I will sit down in my parking lot. For those of you who might have seen my announcement when I was announcing my book, you would have seen that I kind of took you on my journey. I did 9 different looks and 9 different hairstyles. And I did that sitting down in my car. I wrote up a little timeline. I WhatsApped it to Alex and I said, we need to get this done, and we need to get this done like in 2 days. Back in the day, I would have asked, I wouldn't have asked, I would have told myself that's not possible. It can't be done. It's too many looks. We're going to have to get an entire production team. But because I have outworked my self-doubt, because I have worked so hard to get the results each and every time, what has happened is that my brain is now looking at my track record. And my track record says, bet on me every single day of the week, twice on Sundays. So my confidence, and by the way, it doesn't mean that I don't go, this might be tight. But I have no time to sit down and worry. So what I'm asking of you while you outwork your self-belief is that you look at execution over inspiration. Execution over motivation. That you take action over absorption and assimilation. We absorb every day. We assimilate every day. But we do not take action. The day you take that first step and you start to outwork your self-doubt, everything becomes easier. And by the way, that takes time. If you want to do this in 2 days, good luck with that. But this takes time. That was point number 3. Point number 4, as you outwork your self-doubt, there is something that a lot of us do not do enough. Do you know what that is? What is it? I didn't hear you. Ask. A 3-letter word. Ask. Open your mouth. We open our mouth to gossip about people every day. We talk and we chat business that we cannot confirm and don't have nothing to do with us. We talk and we get ourselves involved in matters that do not have anything to do with us. But when we are required to actually open our mouths, to speak over our lives, to get into the next room, to level up and to get all the things we want to do, with no tongue, no teeth, no voice. Open your mouth. I know they want to convince you that you can be self-made and that you can do all things all by yourself, but the devil is a... I am guaranteeing you that as you continue to work and you continue to get into bigger rooms, you're going to plateau even if you're doing it on your own. You need helpers along the way. So what is the problem we have? The number one excuse, I don't ask nobody nothing because you ask people questions and them don't want to give you the information. A lot of the times when you ask those people, so did you ask a question? No, but me just know how the other person stay. No, me never asked them, but me know say I saw people always experience. So you're going to drink bush tea for another man fever? Okay. Or I like this excuse. If I ask people, them are going to know what I am planning and then them going to thief my idea. Let me remind you that you are the magic, that you are the secret sauce, that you are the power and you are the flow. I could give my blueprint, I could answer every question for anybody who wants to be a host and they still couldn't host the way I host because I am the secret sauce. So if your excuse is, if I ask, somebody's going to thief my idea, then it really doesn't mean that you're standing on anything too solid or strong in the first place. Open your mouth and ask. You would be surprised to know how many helpers are around you who are willing and able to give you the answer, but you just won't open your mouth. I was coming through NMIA just December. The flight was 3:50 a.m. Place is a graveyard. I get to the security checkpoint and there's this girl. She's like maybe 21, dressed so nicely. Appears to be a frequent flyer as far as I'm concerned. We get to the checkpoint and she comes to me and she says, I don't know what to do at this point. And I say, don't worry about it. I say, you have to take off everything except for your brassiere and your panty. And she's like, what? I said, okay, if you have a laptop, if you have an iPad, phone, any kind of electronics, do you have that? She said, yes. I said, put it in a tray. I said, you have to take off your shoes, you have to take off your jacket, you have to take off your fanny pack. Do you have anything in your pockets? Empty your pockets, check yourself. All right. Take off your belt. You have on a belt? Take off your belt. She listened to me and I told her, have a safe flight. And I walked through. And then she walked through without any metal detector going on. Do you understand that just because she asked, she got an answer that allowed her learning curve to reduce? A lot of us are trying to figure things out on our own, and it's taking millions of years when God just wants you to open your mouth and ask. And if someone does not want to share information with you, or if somebody style you, that says more about their character than it does yours. And if somebody style you, do not feel like they're the only one. There are 8 billion people in the world. It simply means that maybe that is not the person who should deliver your message. It's facts. So if someone styles you and decides that they're not going to share information, it probably means that there is somebody else who is not only going to share the information, but that person is going to show you or introduce you to their network or take it to another level. So don't take it personally. Ask same way. And as we're on the topic of asking, you must self-advocate, especially the women. This is for you. As you are opening your mouth and you are learning to ask, you must also now learn how to self-advocate. What does that mean? It means that it means nothing and it doesn't serve you when you know your worth. I know my worth, but who else knows it? No, I don't want to say anything. No, it's okay. I'm more of a behind the scenes person. Well, I'm just a humble person and I make my work speak for itself. No, I've been working here for 35 years and I really think I could do the job, but I'm going to wait till somebody else picks me. We have a very bad relationship with humility. We have an awful relationship with humility. Humility does not mean denying your excellence. Humility does not mean playing small and trying not to make people feel comfortable. That's not what humility is. Humility is able, when you have the ability to excel, to be great, to have impact, to own a room, to know you have power without making other people feel small. Self-advocate. So we're on the topic of ask and we're on the topic of self-advocating. How about this one? While you're working, you're advocating, you're building your community, how your character stay? Inky Johnson said something that was very profound to me. He said, for some people, your skill and your craft gets you into great rooms and it gets you to where you need to get, but your character cannot sustain you. Damn. A lot of us are focusing on our skill and our talent, and we're in our business, or we get there, but we just want to get there. And then when we get good results, because we can, but we have not learned to really fix our character, it cannot sustain us. And for those of you who may not have known what had happened, when I announced my book, and I'm going to talk about it, some people may not be aware, but I'm going to talk about it. When I announced my book, and then I went on my vacation, it was brought to my attention that my book had the same title as another book. I did not know, to be very honest. When I did my research, there were other books that had the title, but for those of us who know, well, book titles can't be copywritten, right? Or we wouldn't have any books. And so the author of the book went to war. People sent me screenshots, people sent me WhatsApp, people sent me DMs. People were like, are you not going to respond? No. And I continued about my business. Then I saw newspaper articles. People say, you see this? I said, no. And they said, but you have to respond. And I said, why would I? What do you mean? Why would I respond? I made the announcement April 19. I was launching my book May 28th, thereabout, and I said absolutely nothing. There were defamatory statements made, and I said nothing. And what I did was I prayed about it, and I said, Lord, why you do this? I said, 2020, you drop it in my spirit, come, I never have no work, so I sit down and write a book, and you know, said this was the name of the book, and you didn't know, said this was going to happen, and you never want me from before. Why you do this to me? And when I went to bed, I woke up Tuesday, the early morning, and it was bright as day. He said, my girl, your entire book, you drew a compass. You made that compass go from the beginning of the book all the way to the back of the book. The compass was the navigational system. He said the answer for your book, the name of your book, was always supposed to be right there. And without any warning, I called Alex, I called the production team, and I said, anyway, guys, we're changing out the title. Let's do this. I never said a word. And at my book launch, people came and they saw paraphernalia of the old title. When they walked into the room, everything was the old title. And when it was announced, my book was announced, everything was switched, everything was turned around, and the new title was launched. Now, I need to ask you this. Do you think to this day I have said anything? Do you think to this day I have addressed anything? What was interesting is that the book signings and all the different spaces I went to, people who were following the discussions came to me and they said, you are so on brand. I said, what do you mean by that? They said, you're so on brand. They said, exactly how we expect you to behave, that's what you did. While you are climbing the ladder, people are watching you. Your character is not who you say you are. Your character is what you do, how you do it, each and every single day. And my book has sold out, and I have restocked, and it has sold out, and it has restocked, and it has sold out, and it has restocked, and I have not said a word. Please understand that when you are building your brand, your character is your biggest currency, and we do not give it away freely to people who are not deserving of it. And lastly, because I know them soon, 5 minutes, my seventh and final point. Am I on my seventh? Listen, at 5 minutes, them give me somebody to go take it, I'm going to run with it. My last point. Do not compete or compare. Do not compete or compare. Let me explain something to you. This is another very personal story. I haven't shared it with anybody, but I'm going to share it today. At the beginning of every year, the newspaper, the news media, they put out a list of people who they think are going to do big things for the year. Wow, watch out, women to watch, all of this. And I remember getting WhatsApps from people saying, how come you're not on this list? I was like, it's not that serious. And I continued. And then you get more and more people asking, why aren't you on this list? It's like, me no work for the people, me no know. But I realized that there were people who really were insulted that I was not on the list. And I said, well, one, it is a possibility that I do not meet the standards of someone else. It's possible that someone has criteria and KPIs that I do not meet. Now, not because I don't meet your standard, it means that my standard is not high. Not because I do not make a list, it means that I do not have value. Me never met the list before, so me not make it this year, I know nothing, right? And I continued on my way, and I didn't worry about anything. And by the way, the women who were on the list I knew personally, so I could big them up and celebrate them because they are in their season, and it is okay to celebrate people in their season. So it's not mine, it's fine, but big ups you for making the list. On January 8th, I get a message in my DM, said, Terri-Karelle, I couldn't sleep, a guy. Said I couldn't sleep and I was just idling on YouTube. Your TEDx talk has been launched on the TEDx platform. It's a lie. That was January 8th. We mosey around to March, and I see a Caribbean newspaper with my face on the cover with the 10 Caribbean women who made history in the year 20. And I was just missing Mia Motley, missing Elaine, and I was just like, what? By April, I announced my book. By May, I not only launched my book, but in May, I also come on a cover with Naima. It was B3 magazine. Profile would interview me, go and do my book signings. I got Trinidad and do the launch, and I did all of this, and it just seemed like an acceleration in my 2022. For those of you who are worried that you have not been recognized, that you have not been rewarded, that you have not been acknowledged, that you have been overlooked because you have not made someone's list. Sometimes what God has promised for you is for you to be seen by yourself, standing alone, standing tall, and making sure that you cannot be denied regardless. So, we do not compare. It is not for me to look at the list and say, all right, I am going to do exactly what that person is doing because I want to make a list. I don't need man to validate me. I don't need for a man or a woman to pat me on the back. I want to ensure that the promise and the blessings that God has provided for me, I am continuing to walk in that path. So pay it forward and understand that everything that you need is within you. Ensure that you are discerning of the people around you so that you know who to ask. Yeah? Outwork your self-doubt. But above all, please define what living my best life looks like and then go full throttle. I am rooting for you 100%, and I celebrate you, each and every person in this room. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your attention. Take care. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Terri-Karelle!
Guys, thank you for having me.
Don't go too far. We got a Q&A segment, but can we get another round of applause?
Thank you. Thank you.
Terry, thank you so very much. We're going to give you a proper thanks a little later, but thank you so very much.
No problem.
As I was sharing with everybody, you know, we know Elevate has a special place in your life. And congratulations. Welcome to the Elevate stage, my sister. Wonderful. So, guys, of course, we can't let Terry leave without some questions, right?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, we're going to have a nice Q&A segment right now. But I want to start off. If there's anyone brave enough to kind of pop up and say, what's the one thing that impacted them? I mean, there are so many things, right? But what was the one thing, if you could pick one, that impacted you from Terry's presentation? Is that a lady in the back? I see a lady. Could I get a roving microphone to this lady in the mustard-looking color sweater in the back, nicely protected with her mask on? Could you share? What's that one thing that impacted you from Terry's statement?
Yeah. Hi, Terry.
Hi.
Everyone. All right, it's to outwork your self-doubt. Yeah, that's a big deal. You have a plan and you're going, and then you're like...
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing her very, very well. I don't know if it's me.
Sorry, guys. Hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. It was to outwork your self-doubt. That was my wow moment, you know?
Thank you.
Say that again for us.
Outwork your self-doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Outwork
Your
self-doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Could we have your name?
I'm Cameron Kalash.
Cameron, could you come up on stage, take a picture with Terry? We're going to give you a complimentary copy of her book. Come, quick, run. All right. I see another hand over here, lady in black. Would you like to share with us something that impacted you?
Nice to meet you. Who's taking the photo? Oh!
We're going to take a picture. Let me come out of the picture and on my book.
She said, now got me, I go faint. Don't faint, but So it's signed, but I will put your name in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A lady over here in black.
Hi, I love your blouse. Oh my gosh.
Give us your name and the one thing that impacted you from Terry's presentation.
You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Fedora. Understanding that my breakthrough is on the other sides of my routine or my habits. Let me go.
Breakthrough! Thank you. Could you go back to your seat, please?
No, sir.
There's a gentleman over there. I have to get a man in this mix, you know. You know, so I have to stand up for the men. There's a gentleman over there in the jacket. Could I get a roving microphone to him? Or sir, run, come this way.
So because she already has a signed copy,
Oh, she has a signed copy already.
but because cockroach not busy enough, fine.
Okay, all right, come.
My name is Malachi Allwood.
Malachi.
Your character is not what you say you are, but what you do day in, day out.
All right. Come,
Nice
come, come. Run,
jacket.
run.
You know, see the man, I want a nice jacket. So
Yeah, man, him match her with the red now, you know. Him go match her good with the red. Here's the book.
thank you.
Dr. Terry, let me step out of the way.
You look good. How you doing? Come on down.
I want to make sure we get all sides of the room, though. See another gentleman over here. I want to get all sides of the room. I don't want to be blamed. Hold on. Can I just get this gentleman at arm first, please?
All right, the name is Sujay Foxton.
Hi, Sujay.
Hi, Sujay.
What impressed me was living your best life. You determine or you decide what your best life is. Because sometimes trying to keep up with the Jones not really
leave you
work
broke.
out, and it's not good financial advice for yourself. So I really love that point.
Thank
and
you.
yeah.
Thank you,
All right, Sujay, look like him want to come up on the stage next year. Okay, Sujay, thank you very much. There's supposed to be another book, but
Yes.
I'll just let.
Hi, Sujay. How are you? Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to pause the giveaways for now, guys. We need to get in the questions. We need to get in the questions because we know there are some burning questions for Dr. Terry. Nice. Thank you very much. Thanks so much. Okay, questions, guys. Here, let me go first question in the middle.
Oh, it's not really a question, but you know.
Share your name, please.
So my name is Janelle Robinson. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
And I just want to say that I'm pleased, you know, to meet you, Terry. I have, you know, read so much about you. I follow you on Instagram, and you know, there are so much words that, you know, I can't even find the words to express how grateful I am to be here, you know, just to be in your presence. And I just want to say I love you, Terry.
I love you.
And I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I love you too.
Come and take picture. Come and
I
take
love
picture.
you too.
There's no book, but you're going to get a picture. There's no book, but you're going to get a picture. Take time in those heels. Could I have another question? There's a question in the back. Question in the back. Just give Dr. Terry a minute just to take this picture. Come, ladies, quick. We can't do the long time girl, me never see you talk yet. We want to get through as many questions as possible. Here's a question over here. Lovely lady in a jacket top. Oh, love the print.
Thanks.
All right.
Hi, Terry. How are you, Cinderella?
I am well. Thank you.
I do have a question, like the beautiful woman said before, but I do know Terry as a co-worker, and my little nickname for her was always Cinderella because when she did Rising Stars, she was Cinderella the night before, and when she come back to work, she's regular Terry. And so I used to call her my little Cinderella. I said, Cinderella, what go on? Somebody who worked with her and knows her, can't say personally, but just fast with Terry all the time. But it's beautiful to see your growth and your elevation, not from somebody just outside as a fan, but somebody inside who's also a fan. The Terri-Karelle that you see is the Terri-Karelle that you get. She's probably a little bit more fabulous and a little bit more funnier in person if you do know her. But the nuggets that we share, even now that we're not co-workers anymore, to hear the inspiration that she's elevating now to others, it is truly inspirational, and I just wanted to let you know that, girl.
All right.
Come through.
All right.
We got you, girl. I love.
Thank you. Okay, questions now, guys. Questions, please. Acknowledging my online folks, people. We are getting in your questions. I'm having a connectivity issue right now, so it's saying connecting technology. But we're going to go to this question here. Lovely lady in the blue top. Could you give us your name, please, and share your question?
Sure. My name is Tashika Taylor. I do have a question, but I really just wanted to say
there are no more books. No more books.
No, but because of how deep it hit me, I really just wanted to share that ask. I have it, I wrote it down, I wrote it in all caps, I put it in exclamation because it's a problem that I have, and I wanted to share it with everybody. So if you see me on the road and me look like me not asking, you can drape me up, because it is something that I fall short when it comes to asking, and so it's something that really hit me, and I wanted to just share that. But my question, you said you had 7 points. I just wanted you to recap the last two because I'm not sure I heard the last 2 points.
What did I say at the beginning of my speech? That I am unscripted. And the last one was that your character is not who. Oh, she said number 6. Oh, compete. Do not compete or compare. Do not compete. Look like she did miss 1 or 2 points in a seat. Do not compete or compare. I know that you guys said I only had 6. I mean, I have the other one, and I'm hoping that somebody would just simply ask, well, what was the 7th one? But thank you for that.
Love it. Thank you, guys. Gentleman here at the mic in the blue shirt. Could you give us your name and your question, please, sir?
My name is Joel Degout.
Hi.
Hi, Joel.
Joel, you all right?
Him look nervous.
I thought you were going to break out into like a Boyz II Men song. Although we've come.
So my question was relating to the fourth topic, right? About asking.
Yes.
But so I have been in situations where there are people I want to ask questions that will like change your life. I know that if I talk to this person, I will change my life.
Yes.
And because the person is somewhat have a high stature, it is very intimidating for me to go to them. So I like sit at the event for the whole event until the person leave and end up don't get to talk to them at all. So my question is, how do you deal with that intimidation to know that somebody's like very high, so like it's like you feel pressuring when you want to go and ask a question?
Understood. And I think a lot of us can understand in terms of intimidation. What I look at is the fact that I really don't care who people have title and roles and responsibilities. The fact of the matter is we're humans. And not because you are on a higher level, maybe economically or maybe even socially or politically, it means that you are better than I. At the end of the day, I get over the fact of all of that because I know that most people who have achieved a lot have gone through almost the same things that you have. They have experienced far more. And a lot of the time, you have questions that they understand is relatable and that they can give you the right advice. So my suggestion would be when you go into a space, remove and strip away the, oh my God, but this is who they know. What is it that's on your heart? Approach in an appropriate manner, approach in a timely manner, be very precise and be very concise. Because if this person is as high as you say they are, chances are everyone is trying to speak to them. So be precise, be concise, and try to be unforgettable.
All right.
Thank you.
Love it, love it. Okay, we're going to bring in now a couple questions from our online folks. We need to balance it out, guys, so you're patient. But the most popular question online is, what was Terry's 7th point? Do not compete.
That was actually my 6th. Because I ran out of time, so I did not give them the 7th.
Okay, go ahead.
So very quickly, very quickly, you have to pay it forward. You do not wait to be a CEO or a managing director in order to impact someone's life. A lot of the times, if you even know a little bit more than someone else, it puts you in a position of leadership. Sometimes we don't have to wait for people to ask us for help. Sometimes as leaders, we can already identify that this person has a gap. Make yourself available. Give them the advice. Pay it forward, because whatever blessings you are receiving is because you're putting it out into the world. So that was, I mean, that's a shortened, abbreviated version, but just pay it forward. So living your best life cannot just be living your best life for you. but it is attached to people and their dreams. And sometimes by being good leaders, you allow people to release and actually self-actualize.
Love it. No better way to say it. Thank you. Terry's 7th point. Thank you, online team. Folks, okay, now second question from online before we bring it back into the room. What strategies do you use, Terri, to work out self-doubt? What strategies do you use to tackle self-doubt?
So my strategy is this. I have self-doubt on this side. And from what I've realized is that self-doubt gets you nowhere fast. My mother has taught me the answer is either yes or no. If you try something and it doesn't work out one time, it doesn't mean that you absolutely give up and you go, oh my God, I'm such an epic failure. But give it another go. Try it out. We're always going to have self-doubt, and it is very difficult to tell people just get over it. But you have to get over it. We give it way too much power, way too much attention. Why me? Why not me? Why not me? So you have to choose to frame and reframe how you speak to yourself. So I don't go in going, oh, I'm going to fail. Wow, what if this works? Why not me? I am the person and I belong in this room. And the more I speak to myself like that, the easier it is to like not even care about self-doubt. It doesn't even matter. But you have to do it for yourself. Nobody can do it for you.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Dr. Terri. Back to the lady in the middle here.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Right now, I'm fangirl. I'm
What's
screaming
your
in my
name?
head right
What's your
now.
name?
I am Rachel Matthews.
Hi,
so
Rachel.
nice to see you. So my question is about asking, because that's one of the biggest issues I have is asking. And my thing is, you also spoke about discernment. So how do you go about discerning who exactly it is that you're to speak to, who exactly you are to ask advice from?
Very good question. Yes. For me, I think you attract who you are. I think when you become the person that you kind of want to attract, the universe conspires, right? What I also look is I audit the people around me. Quite frankly, I think it is okay to say it is a privilege to have access to me. And I'm not saying me as Terri-Karelle, I am saying you. Not everybody deserves access to you. It is a privilege. What you need to do is you need to audit and you have to look around for the consistency that we spoke about. Because people's characters, if it's not true, if it's not authentic, usually it kind of fizzles and it fades away. Look at how, and this is for people who you may be interested in asking, look at how they engage people. Look at how they treat people. Look at how they talk to people or how they talk about people. How they deal with certain situations and circumstances. And a lot of the time we use those cues, and those cues help us to make a judgment. Will we always get it right? Maybe not. But if you don't get it right, it's okay, because there are other people who you can ask.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Gentleman to the right there in the gray. Yes.
1, 2. Oh, good
afternoon.
My name is Kemuel Walters.
Hello.
And I just want to ask a quick question. You've lamented on quite a bit on taking action. My question to you is, as it relates to taking action, what is more important in taking action, staying motivated or staying disciplined?
I think it's staying disciplined, and I'm going to tell you why. I think as humans, we all have our bad days. We have our days when things just don't go according to plan. We have our days of disappointments and rejections and no's, and we almost feel stuck like we're not going anywhere. It is impossible for anyone to tell you that they stay motivated 24/7. It's impossible. And if anyone is telling you that, them lie. Said what I said. What I believe is more important is discipline. What I believe is more important is recommitting. It is you not just being dedicated and committed to a task, but recommitting to that task even when you are demotivated. So even though I have my bad days, I get up understanding it's fine. We're going to have to recommit. We're going to have to give it more. We're going to have to double down. and you have to get it done. So for me, discipline falls way higher than being motivated, because it means if you hinge everything on being motivated, you will only do and ideate and create and execute when you are in a fantastic mood. Discipline is the way.
Okay, so somebody who, sorry, just a follow-up question.
Okay, first and last. Go ahead, quickly.
Okay, it's just a quick
One
follow-up question.
One
For somebody who is not, they're demotivated, would they still be able to produce their best results?
If you're demotivated, I think before you even start looking at the results, you have to start figuring out why it is that you're demotivated. What is the trigger? Is it that you need to change your environment? Is it that you need to change your partner? I don't know you, I don't know your partner, I don't know if you have a partner. But what I am saying is a lot of the times when we are demotivated is because there is a root issue. So before we can even talk about the results, what we need to try to do is identify why you feel that way. So when you attack the problem, then you can take the necessary actions to fix that problem to then get the results that you want.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, taking it back online again. Hi, Miss Terry.
Hi.
I'm 21 years old, and I find that when I discuss with persons that I evaluate in my life, all the things that I want to do, like writing a book, owning a business, they make me feel like I'm doing too much, too many things. What do you suggest?
That's because they're basic.
Ooh, that's because they're basic.
Let me tell you something. Mediocre people, basic people, only speak the language that is. Mediocre people only speak the language that is. So when you come with your audacious, ambitious self saying this is what you want to do, and you are sowing these seeds and you are sharing these seeds with somebody who is basic or mediocre, do they have the capacity to understand where you are coming from? So if I share something and I have in the past and somebody said, well, I don't really think so. Mr. Baker World, no, because you're black, you have an afro. Oh my God, it's not going to work. You're basic, you're mediocre, and you are limited by your experience. So allow me to just walk in my power, and I'm going to show you that this is what I'm going to do, and you're going to realize, oh, not only was it possible, I blew it out of the water. But understand, we are not excelling because we want to prove anybody wrong. I don't operate like that. I don't function in that spirit. When you see what I do, it's not to tell somebody, look at what I do. I am doing that because I owe it to myself to self-actualize. So she needs to audit the people who she is sharing her dreams with, because when they speak like that, she now needs to find a different kind of tribe who is there to fan her flame and is there to celebrate and encourage her, period.
All right, thank you very much. Lady in the middle, in the black top.
Why this line look like it just get longer?
Lady in the middle, in the black top.
Oh, they're both, okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Chanel Reynolds here. I guess my question is, well, as you touched on the topic, outworking your self-doubt, is something I've really been struggling with, especially in my field as a female in a male-dominated industry. And sometimes I
What industry is that, if you may?
Construction,
all right.
actually. So,
go girl.
You need to talk with a little bit more bass and power in your voice, you know.
I have anxiety, so I'm trying, you know.
Thank you.
But that's also a part of it, right? Because there are many times when I am in a subcontractor's meeting and I am literally the only female in that room. And there are times when I will have burning questions, or suggestions to bring to the table, and I just end up feeling like just that little girl in the room.
Do you ask your questions? Do you?
No.
So this
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like I just don't know how to break away from being that little girl in the room.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to assume that because you are an industry, the one that you have chosen, which as you have obviously stated, is not a particular industry or field we normally find a lot of women. Do you believe that you bring value to the table?
I do.
No.
I do.
I'm going to ask you this question one more time. Do you believe, after working so hard to break into an industry that is male-dominated, that you, as the only female that normally sits at that table, do you think that you got there by merit or just to look pretty?
By merit, of course.
So now we're getting an attitude. I like it. Do you believe that you bring value to that table?
Yes.
So what you have to do, and Paul Bronson said this in 2019, is that you have to put that value on display. What I spoke about is self-advocacy. Self-advocacy means that it's okay for you to know that you bring value, but until you open your mouth, you ask your questions, you state your recommendations or your suggestions, no one is going to take you seriously. You will be that token female, and you will have persons saying, well, clearly you must be here not on merit, but by something else. So you now have to open your mouth and say, I realize that you made a point, but based on my experience, what I would suggest is X, Y, Z, or have you considered another alternative? You have to put your talent, your value, your worth on display, or nobody is going to take you seriously.
All right. Thank you very much.
Period.
Thank you very much. Just a side question here from Anastasia online. Hi, Anastasia or Anastasia. Good day, TK. You said we should ask, so I'm asking if you can mentor me, please.
I knew that question was coming. That question always comes.
Right? Okay, I'm going to ask this gentleman in the plaid and this lady in the black dress because I have about 5 minutes left. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. My name is Sebastian. Thank you so much for the nuggets throughout the entire presentation.
Thank you.
I was writing.
Yes, Sebastian. 5 minutes. Let's go.
You know, you spoke about defining your best life and also asking those questions, but how exactly do you know what questions to ask? How exactly do you define, or how exactly do you identify those things that are aligned with your purpose and aligned with where you should be taking your life?
Well, I think that's a really weird question, but I'm going to try to answer it. You identify things that naturally make sense. So, for example, if a company or a brand reaches out to me and it is a salacious brand that sells gossip or, you know, things that are not kid-friendly or family-friendly, it's very easy for me to identify that that simply does not align with what my brand represents. Yeah. You identify things based on the breadcrumbs, based on the clues and the signs. Typically, if you have even the slightest idea of where you want to get, you will understand that this not going to really work out because it competes or it contradicts what I am trying to do. If I am trying to get this done or I'm trying to meet this person, I can't be seen doing this. I can't be saying this. So you have to figure out what you want to do or where your interest at least lies. And then you have to sit down and figure out what are the things that you know will make you a liability or what will make you an asset. And that is where everything kind of falls into place. And it doesn't happen overnight. Again, what I said was this takes time, okay?
Thank you very much. Lady in the dress or top
Hi,
of the skirt.
Okay, so my name is Katie, and my question is, what kind of tips would you give to persons who are doing well, but at the same time they feel stuck?
What I would ask is, okay, so you're doing well, you feel stuck. I'd have to have a deeper conversation to ask them why they feel stuck. Is it that they're not making sales? Is it that their community is not building? Is it that everything has come to a standstill, or is this just something internal? It's very hard for me to give a tip when I
have a business, which you know, Katie Pink's Designs, and the business is going well. It's in a lot of stores. We're making a lot of money, but at the same time, I feel as if I need to be doing more or doing something else, adding on to the brand. So it's not that it's not doing well, but at some point, I feel stuck.
Have you taken the time to actually celebrate? Because a lot of small businesses don't say what you just said. Can we just give her a round of applause? Because clearly Homegirl is doing well.
I love it.
Have you taken the time to actually celebrate and assess your timeline, what your business plan and projections look like? Have you reached all of your targets, even though you're feeling stuck?
I've been reaching the targets, but I keep moving to the next one and the next one and the next one.
So what I think a lot of us get caught up with moving to the next one and the next one and the next one, and we have to be very careful with that. I have been very slow and intentional with my brand. There are many things that I could have just do. But I've been very slow because sometimes good things and things of quality take time. And so before you go to the next one, ensure that you have actually milked everything out of this and that you have now started putting the pieces in place to get to the next stage before you say you're stuck. If you told me you weren't making any money, things not coming in, nothing not happening for you, then I would tell you, yeah, that sounds like you're stuck. You reached a ceiling or a plateau. But until then, it means that you still have enough gas in your tank, and right now what you're probably looking for is a transitional phase to go to the next level. But take your time. You have time. Don't rush, because sometimes in rushing, you actually jeopardize your entire system and your entire brand. Okay?
Yes. Last question, 30 seconds. Hi.
Okay, good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm Davin.
Hello.
You gave the example of changing your routine from Rebel Salute to Elevate. I just want to ask, what are the variables you would look for in order to change your routine, especially if that routine is giving you income?
So this is life. Great question. But this is life. Hindsight is 2020. And a lot of the times when we make a certain decision or when we take a certain thing, it's a risk. Everything that we do is tied to risk. I did not know that Elevate was going to change my mind. What happened was that I was willing to step out of my routine without having any guarantee or any promise that this was going to the result in order to find out how this could fulfill me. If I went and it didn't do anything for me, life goes on. But what if I actually just take this one moment? What could the other opportunities look like? So I wasn't really looking at the variables. I finally said, you know what? I'm just going to try. And looking back, I realized that it was the best decision that I made in this lifetime. So we don't have control. We can only control the controllables. We just have to hope that the risk that we take is the best kind of risk we can make when living our best lives.
Thank you very much. Dr. Terri-Karelle.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can you just big up your designer for us again?
Oh, I just want to first of all big up to all of the small businesses, the local businesses, because I believe that we must support local. And so I just want to say thank you to Yolvinta Romario Clark, who is a local designer here in Jamaica.
Right,
Thank
beautiful.
You. Thank you.
JMMB thanks him too.
No problem. Bye, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much, Dr. Terri. All right, so guys.
So that is how you're telling me goodbye in a real life?